well. The desk was mentioning it. First one of the tournament, so we will be sending one team home. The other one moving forwards as well. Of course, they know their opponent already, but the pistol round beginning, and it seems like Scary is going to be taking a bit of contact here. A couple of bullets rattled off, but he backs away. He's going to be respecting it.
And here it comes.
Yeah. Dash enabled, queued up, straight into the Cloudburst. Paranoia to answer it, but Meteor just moves forwards. Doesn't even matter that he's blinded. Surf tries to answer back, does grab the one. Not enough though, sight control.
Really nice idea from Northeption there. They're slow and quiet into B main. Fox was slow and quiet himself until he had to break the trademark, and now they know that he's behind. And this retake, it just doesn't look like it's going to have any teeth to it. You got Cruz walled off over at CT. They know where this danger man is coming from here.
How does Fox even deal with this one? So Northeption players, they've got such a vice grip on the rest of the site still. Fox does get away with that one. But Zen's going to be trying to, or at least beat him. The classic pull down, bit of a jumping right click. Left down now to the 1v2, but time is running so brutally low. And the crossfire, it's not doing him any favors, is it? It's going to be Northeption winning that pistol round, and the energy, I can feel it, Josh, honestly. I can hear him as well. They're screaming.
Yeah, I mean, the desk were having a good discussion about whether or not Northeption looked a little bit nervous coming into their opening game against DRX. And I think it's entirely possible. People expect this team to pop off just because they played in front of a big crowd in Japan. Yeah. But their first time in front of the crowd, they choked. They played crumbled. Terribly. That upper final was disastrous from Northeption, and it took them a while to get into the groove. I don't know why it would be any different here. They haven't suddenly matured into a very experienced roster. They have only formed a team for a few months. So here's Northeption, again, all grouped up, going for a fast take of A ramp.
Meteor already up onto that heaven area. The Spectre in his hands. Cloudburst to try and block one of the line-of-sight angles. Slow orb as well, just in case there was a player deciding to perch their way up there.
There's
but
a big stack here.
Yeah, it's actually just going to be running straight into this one with the Hawk. No one's really dealing with it, but the Northeption players finally going to be dealing with it. Flooding back into it, so a clean round under their belt.
Yeah, it could have been a little bit dangerous there. XERXIA had the right read. Northeption put in out a B hit, an A hit. Yeah. Really testing the full depth of the playbook early on. But now they've got the potential to keep this one snowballing. You are going to see fast-paced gameplay from both of these teams. XERXIA strike me as the team with a little more of that discipline. But at the end of the day, if you're on the defense side, you're going to get barreled over by Meteor if he's got good supporting utility coming out from Jojo Blackwiz.
Not afraid to support him, supplement him with the stuns and the paranoia, whatever it might be. Anything to try and convert this one now, and it is once again just pure speed. Stun was ripped across, paranoia to try and counteract it, but okay. Durali just spamming with the spare. Oh boy, Sushi Boys has managed to get this lurk on timing, and he's got a spike drop down into sewers on top of it.
Very weird situation. XERXIA trying to make the most of this, capitalize with a push down, but Zenfree's managed to get his way actually into the B site. Unfortunately, Deriali and Blackwiz just can't hold on. If they had been able to back off a little bit there, perhaps they could have bought time for Zen to go for this flank. But now it's just useless. He's got 8 bullets in the headhunter. Hasn't even seen a player that he could have used them on this round.
I love the lack of hesitation, though, from XERXIA in terms of just get the spike down. Immediately they know, okay, we're going to fight again over mid. But the repush into it.
This whole game, this whole match is going to be like this. It's going to be scrappy, blood everywhere. Yeah. The faster that Northeption play on their attack side, the more holes they're going to leave, and the more that XERXIA can go for fast flanks on the defense. So the fact that that's already started to happen round 3 implies a deep sense of understanding about their opponent's style. And Brent, you were saying that these two teams are scrim partners as well.
Yeah, they've definitely mentioned in the past, they've had some practice against one another, obviously. APAC versus Japan, the Asian teams, they often be trading games. They are quite fluid with each other. And how that materializes, I mean, left to be shown, but I imagine they're pretty aware of the way that both the star players on either side end up playing.
They are both running different compositions to what you may have expected to see coming out. Northeption trying to pick split here to get XERXIA's Yoru out of the equation, because it didn't look very good when they were playing it domestically. But they found a little more than they bargained for, perhaps, with Surf opening up that first kill. Yeah,
Black was going down as a brutal. You no longer have those smokes to try and get that free entry, just trying to lurk through.
And also, in these slower rounds, Bren, they are going to struggle to take A ramp. Even if Blackwiz is alive, he's going to have to be expending his smokes just to allow that pressure to happen.
A little skirmish occurring as well. Misha's just having to hide inside of his own smoke. Scary, though. Just hugging the pillar, making sure it deals with any stray players that just might be wandering
Look
in.
what's happening in Spawn. You got Foxy just running Jojo down with the spike. I mean, this round was chaos incarnate for Northeption. They try and make something happen over towards the A ramp side. Not supported enough with utility. They don't have very much for that side of the map. Yeah. No Cypher with cages, for example. No Astra using pullback smokes. And then tried to do some kind of pop into B without the spike. And Jojo got ran down in Spawn trying to transport it back to his team. So 2-2. And Northeption onto an eco.
Looking to see if they can do some damage in this one. Meteor does have knives, anything's possible. A couple of points away from the old points, and it looks like there is going to be that, once again, big clash over towards A main. Meteor just running forwards. Blade Storm still in his hands, still got it, and he knows there's a player just running and waiting into the elbow, but Surf is just disrespecting it. Hasn't teleported away. Meteor's going for a large wraparound. He could be able to do some serious work, some serious damage, but the smoke's still blocking it, and XERXIA just dealing an elegant solution, I think, to what was happening in front of them. Meteor taken out on top of it, so the round, I mean, this is just pure scrap, isn't it?
That's also such an amazing response by XERXIA. They know that Meteor is the danger man. The rest of the team of Northeption have not been particularly turning up at the event, and even when they play online are nowhere near as dangerous. There is no team at this event that relies more on their star player. When you look at the percentage of first kills or kills that Meteor gets, he has the most first kills out of any player at the event and the second most kills as well. So if you just avoid Meteor and fight the other 4 players on Northeption, that seems like a very good win condition for me.
What a strategy. Ignore Meteor strategy.
Ignore the solo carry and simply run at the rest of the team. I mean, it worked for them in that round. Yeah. Obviously a gun disadvantage though for the other players on Northeption.
Northeption are going to have to, once again, play a bit more slow into this round, because the Tour de Force online, I can obviously tell that this is in place. The Surf could be anywhere. Watching, obviously, we know straight down mid. Are they going to try and supplement a peek, jiggle peek? Show a bit of respect here. Could be offering Surf a freebie, and there you go. I mean, a jiggle peek. Blackwards didn't see anything initially, so he thought he was safe.
And Meteor wasn't set up close enough on the jiggle to be able to swing that and try to punish. They are attempting to take mid control off the back of this, which I appreciate. I like that. But Meteor's burnt his dash. And Zen on the other side of the map at A ramp again. I think that's going to be a difficult spot, especially with Meteor falling. That is the tip of the spear. Now it's a 3v5 where Zen's just had no impact with his tour de force at ramp.
Yeah, some risks need to be taken if Northeption want to try and convert this one, but time running really quite low now. XERXIA definitely feeling, you know, they're the more experienced team we were saying coming into this as well. I think it's definitely showcasing in the way that they're answering a lot of these slower rounds. They seem to have better game plans overall.
And Northeption are a very fast-paced team. If you force them to take slow rounds like this, they're not in their comfort zone at all. They're relying on XERXIA making mistakes to win this one or even do any damage. Of course, there's only 15 seconds left and the spike's no win. They're just going for the save. Zen has managed to pick up a Vandal too, so saving more than just a few of his tour de force bullets into the next. But if you think about this match as a big picture, Bren, it's APAC versus Japan. Both of these regions have made top 4 events before, but not these teams. These teams haven't made the top 4.
Yeah.
They've both been living in the shadow of their big brother within the region. XERXIA living in the shadow of PaperX. And Northeption as well, living in the shadow of Zeta Division and what they've been able to accomplish at the prior events.
Such a high bar being set.
It's absurd, yeah. And Northeption have had the same opening to Masters that Zeta Division had. They came here, first game, rolled by DRX.
Yep.
It is a hazing ritual, perhaps, for the Japanese teams. Come here, get dominated by DRX, and then see what you can do with the rest of it. And Zeta Division fought back. They refused to break at Reykjavik. And they had, I will say, a bit of an easier group as well, with Fnatic having 2 subs and NIP in the group as well. The other big difference to me is that Zeta Division had no expectations.
No, the pressure was off.
The pressure was off, but they had a lot of experience. It's the opposite for Northeption. They have expectations. They need to get 3rd in this event to guarantee champions. That's a crazy expectation. And they have no experience. These players, they're turning up to their first LAN event. That's not the case for that Zeta Division team. So Northeption are definitely on the back foot. But we've seen teams in these circumstances slowly improve and produce brilliance eventually. Just the question is whether or not they have the time.
Too right. And Northeption, I mean, just to correct you a little bit there, Josh, they do have a little bit of LAN experience, obviously, with the regional tournament that they ended up playing, but
Sure.
It's when it's on the global stage against the very best competition, it's a bit different.
I think it is vastly different, yeah.
Timeout over. Northeption going to be wondering, okay, what do we do here then? Do you have good weapons? The Vandals in their hands? Trying to get some of that money spent.
But you can see it's not going to be a fast pop. Actually, maybe they'll go up mid with some level of pace here. Jojo having that rolling thunder could be something that they use, but they need to take some control early on in the round.
Incredibly passive.
Worried about Surf's operator. In fact, it's Sushi Boys hiding here.
Just hiding, tucking into the corner. I mean, the stun obviously connected there, but you see XERXIA just using a ton of utility to try and potentially bail him out. Oh, the spam just onto that angle. The crosshair placement was immaculate, but now the return fire. Look at that, rolling thunder. Right into Mail, pushes crew back. He's just going to survive another day for but a moment.
But look how much utility they've bled out of Northeption there. Zen trying to make his way up A ramp. He has found an opening. Scary falls. And now this is the best chance that Northeption have had for a round in a while.
TP cancel.
I think that's supposed to be a fake over towards A, and they're silently working their way up B heaven, but this allows Surf to have impact.
Yeah, just holding down this one angle and they're just contact peeking into it. Right into the operator. Still he just peeks. That is such a narrow margin. And yet he finds it over and over and over again.
What a beast! Bailing them out at the perfect time. He was easily their star player when XERXIA went up against FBX. Won the MVP despite losing. Plus 12 in first kills to first deaths, but rounds like that, you can tell why they want the operator in his hands.
Yeah.
I think it's poor decision-making, though, from Northeption. I think when you have the advantage and the opening at A ramp there, just committing to an A split is a great idea. Contacting around the map is begging to be punished by Surf or any of these other XERXIA players. And I can't profess to understand what they're talking about, but it sounds high energy.
The energy is high. Surf was dancing as he was coming into the Vicio. Wants to answer back once more. It's a fast take, a fast approach right into heaven, but this time his teammates right behind him. This could be the difference maker that they need to try and get another one onto the board. The wall goes up. Surely they're not going to continue pushing it. The gap within it, and still XERXIA punish.
Just reading the play perfectly, and no attempt to pump the brakes there for Northeption. Allows XERXIA to readjust their positioning and collect. It feels like these fast plays are just getting eaten up.
Hard red.
Yeah, the XERXIA response is very nice. Remember that XERXIA have been practicing for so long and played so many matches against Paper Rex. Couldn't get a faster team. Can Zen do anything? Blackwiz!
Okay, only a Spectre, but he still makes it work. Zen and Blackwiz, they managed to turn this one into the 2v2. Still finding the kills. Sushi Boy's just peeking that one, thinking he could take an ideal timing all up to Surf now with the operator. And the spikes drop down. Pushing forwards, an exchange being made. Surf ends up on the losing side of things. So Blackwiz, massive opening for him, being able to cover the backs of Zen as he was taking fights all over the place.
A couple of crazy kills from Blackwiz, just with a Spectre in front of the smoke. Take a look at the replay and how he's able to get this one done. They're trying to punish Zen, who was peeking window. Blackwiz is just covering his back.
That's what you need. You can see how much it means to them.
Yeah, that's got to be a momentum shift there for Northeption. The opening of the round was very poor, but they were still able to salvage it with some nice mid-round play and a great clutch.
Incredibly important to be able to just stop the momentum when you feel like a game is getting out of hands. It's a fast dash into B main to see if they can cut across any line-of-sight angles. They triggered a trademark that was placed there aggressively prior, and Sushi Boys has gone for another look all the way through here. Is this being watched? Is he going to catch Jojo? Jojo seems aware. His crosshair placement is looking for it.
He's stomping.
Oh, it's a half clear. Not proper. Sushi Boys, though, now that is a slightly exposed. Bit of a rebound there of the nade. He is being pincered, but Blackwiz needs to be worried once more. Foxy just takes up the space that his teammate opened up for him.
And XERXIA are using, there's a res, just no map control, no understanding of where the XERXIA players could be. And Sushi Boys is still around sewers.
That's all up to Zen, isn't it?
Yeah, looking to fight them. If Zen can make something happen, as he did in the prior round, perhaps this is still clutchable.
But again, are they going to have the foresight to know that Surf's playing it? There is a jiggle there. Narrowly avoiding the shot, and Zen's managed to lurk his way in. contacting all the way. Paranoid to cut across here. Will he be able to follow up for them? The players are just dropping like flies, but now they've spotted him out. Scary. Oh, he picks up 3. That's a prime game in Flawless in the round.
And XERXIA's decision-making is completely outplaying Northeption there. Off the back of utility being used in B main, they push out of A. And that Sushi Boy is taking an advanced position because he's pretty confident Northeption are not going to default whilst using all of that utility over on that side of the map. Worst case scenario, battles Zen, and that's it. And then their response to collect Blackwiz in sewer, they're 2 steps ahead right now.
They're so aware of the space that they can take, just for free. Sushi Boys is constantly making those lurks, but now a new round on the board. Northeption not working with much when it comes to the money, not even the ultimates.
Here.
Just spamming it. They're so aware of the possibility. Meteor moves forwards, but he's dealt with.
I can respect the attempt. He's a fun player to watch. But that time it doesn't quite work. XERXIA are on point today.
One enemy remaining.
It's honestly just relentless. Not willing to give them an inch.
Not even slightly. And this should, in my opinion, be the favored side for Northeption just based on their play style. They're gonna try and get aggressive. They're gonna try and take fights with Meteor, with Zen. And all of the win conditions are being shut down right now.
One enemy remaining.
XERXIA are still being aggressive on their defensive side too. They have a comp that could just sit back and try and absorb the aggression, but instead, they're looking to find holes.
Yeah, all the time. Poking, prodding. I think it comes back to the earlier point we were talking about with the A-ramp lurks not really working out, but this time looks like there will be potentially some pace just once more injected into the round. Starting a slow off the rip just to try and see if they could catch a player out of position, maybe just holding onto that corner, but now they contact back in Northeption. Yes, gonna be the flash and the dash all the way in, but Scary's just ready and waiting once more. Surf at the back. Oh, the double satchel play from Sushi Boys doesn't get rewarded with a kill, but already all that space that was gained taken away in the blink of an eye. Northeption just forced to just run away.
And XERXIA had 4 players waiting for them on the B site. Foxy at the beginning of the round used his horn to A-ramp. That didn't see anything. Then Foxy calls for his players. You guys can leave. They're not A. They're not A. Yeah. He uses another Prowler just to make sure. And he's like, guys, I swear, they're not A. Just go and stack B. And Northeption have just been too obvious in the entirety of this attack half that they've caused XERXIA to lose respect for it completely. I mean, they can make these kind of gamble stacks without having to worry about a lurker, without having to worry about a default, a fake. All of these things that Northeption could and should have been doing early to condition their opponents and make them respect, they've been absent.
It's been missing.
It's been very one-dimensional.
You want to play? Let's
Approaching
play.
the end of this first half here. 3 rounds is what they gained. If they make it 8-4, possibilities are there, obviously, when the sides switch around, but slowed down.
It's a slow round, and there's a double operator setup.
Where is that?
My word, what is that?
What is going on here? I mean, the stun as well to try and punish this. What is this off of?
This is off nothing. This is based off a timing and a fact that they are anticipating Northeption to quietly be taking B main control. It's a really cool idea. It didn't quite work, but hey, everything XERXIA have touched has turned to gold in this match so far, so I respect the effort.
Oh, the rope noise. And Foxy knows players present.
Foxy was role-playing as the 1% in this round. He had an operator and now a Vandal. And he knows there's a player here.
Trail's being found. Up onto the ropes. How is Zen getting away with this? Quick scope, one after the other. 2 shots is all it takes, and out of Nightfall. Dashed across. It is pure pandemonium, but Cruz has managed to regain a bit of stability. B main control still being held down. Tries to go for the flash read peek. A bit of a drive-by by Meteor. The Blade Storm, every single knife. Just going straight into the back of the wall.
Teleport's gone.
Creating outlines around his enemies, but the spike is down. Northeption are going to try and play this one in the post plant. They're rolling Thunder to see if they're advantaged, but they're stunning up their own teammates. Blackwiz, oh boy, still gets it, doesn't he?
Zen is stuck here, worried about somebody pushing behind him, can't really help the rest of the team. The question is, what can XERXIA do to punish? And then Surf with a headshot with the operator.
Headhunter knows he's there, but Jojo spotted. There's one down to the 1v1. Aftershock into the corner, but that swing by Jojo, that's sublime. They get that 4th round in the first half, Josh.
And can that be the difference maker? You'd normally say 4 rounds on attack, not too bad for Split. but I feel like Northeption are just such an attack-heavy team. I'm not sure it's enough.
Yeah, it's certainly looking like a difficult uphill battle for them. I mean, just look at this as well. It's not particularly coordinated compared to what we've seen in the past, but
They need to get their feet under them quickly.
opportunity to do so, obviously, with a bit of a break in the tempo at the half-time. We're going to see what our analyst desk has to say about this first half.
Well, that was a
Half.
That was a half.
Yeah.
That was a half and a half.
A game of Valorant.
That was, I mean, you know, look, I'm not trying to be disparaging there, but, you know, Doug, it did feel like there were times where Northeption it almost looked like they were just scratching their head as they were trying to play this game to figure out what do they have to do, but it feels like the answers are in front of them. The skill is clearly there. They were able to pull forward.
Yeah, I think they look lost. It's probably the best way to explain it. It's kind of what you're alluding at. And honestly, it was Brandon Josh who said it on the desk. Oftentimes you look at Split and you go, 4 is fine. 4's pretty good. You can do 4. Yeah. But the truth is, the 4 that they won, number 1, didn't necessarily look close. That last round notwithstanding. And I think it was Josh who said it. He's right. Like, they are such an attack-heavy team. That's a difficult thing to pull.
And Cruz is just running around, just doing his thing. It's kind of like, you know, picking up right where he left off yesterday.
It's funny as well because I sort of said it kind of looks like Team Deathmatch at points. Like some of this match.
Cheeky TDM.
And we spent the pre-show talking about Cruz and saying he's really, you know, helping getting his team in. He's been a great initiator and whatnot. And I think he's just kind of jumped in on the fun a little bit. He's got, I know what my utility needs to do early round. And once I've expelled that, I can jump in and be yet another gun. And he's quite a capable mechanical player as well. So this is something that has really been suffocating the side of Northeption. They can't find a bit of a breathing room against these players.
I think why have I blanked on their name? XERXIA have done an excellent job, or they did in the first half, of applying pressure from different areas of the map.
So
yeah.
Two things come to mind. Sushi Boy's on that flank into spawn, which, right, everyone expects that, right?
Yeah.
The lurking raise. And then towards the end of the half, the Rolling Thunder into B main that, yeah, ultimately it didn't work, but they are applying pressure, right? Like, that's suffocating when you don't feel like there's anywhere that you can go. You neuter so much of an attacking team's options. It just doesn't pan out.
Yeah, well, they're going to need a lot of options here. They're down by 4, but they are on the defense, so that could be a bit of a shining light here. But as Sideshow said, everything XERXIA touches turns to gold. Maybe they can find gold here. Let's send it back over to Brennan Sideshow.
Thank you very much. Yes, Death Crew, let's get back into this one. What a vitally important pistol round this is going to be for Northeption to answer back, I think, at this scoreline for map 1 of Split here, this elimination game between both of these teams.
Zen looking to take contact down mid. Nobody particularly there. A haunt that he dodges. And now Foxy may stray into a sight line.
Trying to bait a bit of that flash and a slow orb deep.
He knows there's at least a Breach and a Sage playing here at the moment, and instead of XERXIA going to take B as a reaction, they've gone to try and clear out mid. And that is going to afford Zen opportunities.
Yeah, we'll see. Actually, going to use the rendezvous to go back. The wall goes up, but plenty of players to try and take down pieces of it. Swing timing from Meteor. Doesn't have the dash enabled, playing inside of his own cloud, but this is an absolute insane play. The stun catches, you do not anticipate him to be this close. You don't expect it, surely. The reposition, he finds the one. Where's the rest of his team? No, it's the pivot straight into A.
The pivot into A is there. Trademark slows them down a little bit, and Blackwiz attempting to anchor.
Gets the one, nade up top though. Reali meets his maker. Spike drop down, Meteor wants to try and find that timing. 2 shots rattled off. Can't quite get the third to get the kill, but now he's dropped down. The flower pot needs a bit of help, needs a bit of support, but maybe he can just do it on his lonesome. You've got to be kidding. Jojo eventually coming back into the fight. He's like, oh, okay, you've already taken care of it. Got a couple of kills, why not?
What an insanely important pistol round for Northeption. That does get them back into this game. Had they lost it, I think there was very little chance. But Meteor, again, just making the solo plays. I think he actually got stunned by his own breach as he took that position. And then he drops out of heaven before Jojo's anywhere near ready to support him. But Meteor is so confident in being able to take these solo duels and put the world upon his shoulders. And he delivers fairly often.
Just not worried about, you know, the correct timing. Quote-unquote proper play, waiting for your teammates to try and supplement it with the utility.
Proper timing is predictable timing.
That's
to
true,
Meteor.
that's true. It's a good approach with the B main control, the one-way setup. Players just trying to swing into it, but it's an absolute meat grinder. Essentially donating ult orbs into B main.
Yeah, a couple of those going the way of Jojo as well. Of course, a Rolling Thunder would be pretty fabulous, but I don't really see how he's going to be able to build up to it. Still 2 all points away. And Northeption, with an opportunity to cook up something aggressive, perhaps. They went for a 4-player stack towards mid on their pistol round, and Northeption often have some very creative ideas for pistol rounds, and that sometimes extends to their bonus rounds as well. I have to take a look at the minimap and see if you can spot any of the players getting into aggressive positions, or Meteor going for some kind of dash. Yeah. It looks like Meteor's just playing for his martial value.
Just holding on that one line-of-sight angle. And
we get to see here whether XERXIA's attack looks as coordinated as their defense.
Teleporter close just so that he can trigger the sound cue. And Zen taking contact. Has to rendezvous and respect it though. Putting a lot of damage into Foxy. But fighting over that mid control, making sure that they exchange a couple of bullets, bits of utility. Northeption, the back of their minds thinking, okay, well, they're getting that control for free, but Meteor still holding. A bit of a whiff on the shot. Still wants to try and take it. And this time comes up with the goods.
Huge play. Grabs another tag.
You've got to be joking. This guy is an absolute menace.
One enemy remaining.
He set his team up to succeed. Wandering into it. Shot after shot.
And that is a Meteor round. The shooting star of Northeption. He will produce rounds like that where he has no right to, but he's so mechanically gifted and so incredibly confident. Even when he was playing against DRX, he was still finding some of those moments, glimpses of the impact that he can have.
But what a round to do it in. This is looking like it's going to be just a flawless conversion there at the bonus. I mean, Foxy's not even attempting anything, of course, wants to just save that rifle.
To try and explain how big Meteor is for Northeption, there are only 2 players in this tournament who get more than a quarter of their team's kills, and Meteor's one of them. And he's also #1 in terms of how many first kills he gets compared to the rest of his team. He gets 47% of Northeption's first kills.
Yeah.
That is ludicrous. No one else is even close.
I mean, definition of a hard carry player.
Yeah.
With the numbers and just that ratio of first kills that he's putting up.
And the question is he able to maintain it over the course of a series against very good opposition?
I can't
and
believe
Surf is that.
I mean, the goal to just repeat that a 3rd time as well and still come up value. I mean, why not? You're on a bonus, you're taking risks.
What's crazy about that play too is he goes for a peek the first time and Surf is dueling him. He re-peeks and Surf is still dueling him. He re-peeks a 3rd. (5 and 10). Now that's not a problem on their defense side because his decision-making was really good. He was finding opportunities to flank sewers and etc, etc. Now that you get onto the attack side though, this is where Sushi Boys is expected to use the utility coming out from Cruz and the flash from Scary and Horn Patch, stuff like that. Yeah, and he needs to be finding space and entry picks.
The bar is about to fall.
Not necessarily in this round, of course, but once they start to get guns back.
The money's not great for them. Enough, though, for the rifle in the hands of a few of them. They break this sage wall that was just impeding them. But Zen is in such a slight off angle, isn't he? It's a position that's difficult to clear unless they want to use some utility into it. Just double facing for now.
It's such a nasty angle. You're not pre-aiming that spot whatsoever if you're XERXIA. At the same time, he is a little exposed. On the anti-eco.
Yeah, Meteor's got that dash enabled. Does he want to try and take the fight? Of course he does. Bit of a dodge off the stun, but you got to expect him to re-peek. He's hugging the wall for now, but I'm going back for it. Surf was watching.
There's the double-edged sword, because he's actually given a Vandal over in ropes.
Black was being pressured, has to just make sure he teleports away.
And now XERXIA have 2 Vandals to use in a 4v4 situation.
Now time is running low. Horn's going to get destroyed. No real information other than just knowing that Blackwards are still playing in this area.
30 seconds left.
Where do they want to try and end out here? XERXIA looking like they are trying to end over towards B. 2 players just anchoring it down. Jojo hugging this pillar, has utility in his hands. He might be able to do some serious damage, and just look at that.
Down, B.
Cruz gets his head ripped straight off. Paranoia in play. The swing, the support is there from Zen. The reset of the aim. And that is it. They even up. Split thus far. 8-8 is going to be the scoreline.
Such an important round for Northeption. Both of these teams heavily struggled in anti-eco situations in their first opening games. They were getting thriftied left, right, and center against both FBX and DRX. And Northeption, when they got thriftied against DRX, they just crumbled. They lost every other round in the half.
Expecting a new remix by tomorrow. the nice remix. Right there. Stellar scenes. I mean, they are just loving it, aren't they?
The Northeption economy could not be better. For XERXIA, it's an economic swing round. Simply cannot afford to lose this. It would be the first time that Northeption had led since the pistol in round 2.
Lots of money in the bank, dealing with the Sage Wall. He's going to get spammed down, but they have so many players just lurking around here, giving up B main control, A main control. Not too worried about it though, are they?
I feel like this is the same issue that Northeption were running into. An extraordinarily heavy emphasis on mid, and no pressure towards B main or A ramp. And it just makes it too easy for the defending team to figure out where you are on the map.
There's so many teams, you just see them, a bit of exchange of utility. They don't really want to give up B main for free when you're playing attack side split. But still, got their eggs into the mid basket, and look at that, just completely pushed away by a single slow orb. That utility pulled out of them, the angle watched. Oh boy, not really adjusting it, tries to go for the spray down, but Blackwards, he will end up falling.
It's opened up the A site. These Northeption players coming on the rotate. Surf attempting to block them off. Can Meteor once again make the difference?
Still a fight being taken place there at the heaven. Meteor committed his updrafts, has the Blade Storm in his back pocket if he wants to still whip it out and try and do some work. Jojo, don't flicker the wrist. This crossfire setup can be quite brutal though. How is he going to be clearing this one out? Well, I think the ultimate might help. Rolling Thunder means the Sushi Boys, the positioning.
Where's the swing?
What is going on here? Fox is just about getting around it, but Spike going to be planted for heaven. To get the information, the utilities used, and finally XERXIA going to get around on the board on this half.
Very disciplined from XERXIA, almost to the point of playing a little too passive for me, but they were diligent in terms of funneling the rest of the Northeption retake onto the Spike and then peeking. And honestly, against some of these Northeption players, I can understand why you wouldn't want to be face checking them, even if it is a double swing.
Both of these teams perfectly happy to just play with complete confidence, but it's just about, you know, who's wearing that mantle at a given time. Sometimes you can feel these teams, they do just slip ever so slightly.
Meteor picking up the orb. He was in the previous round as well, this time supporting Zen for an aggressive hold of A main. So they have information towards both extremities Northeption on this defense side. And it's another round where there's 4, almost 5 players in mid for XERXIA.
Heavy taken to the mid, the Sage Wall's taken out. Meteor knows what to expect here. Could be players lurking in that rope just from the noise and presence that they've been making.
And look at this really passive positioning of the trademark and of Meteor's operator here. They're giving them all the space in mid. Giving them enough rope to hang themselves though, I think. As XERXIA are sometimes struggling to execute from mid control into the site.
What's the play here? Paranoia, never rolling Thunder, why not? Combo it up on top of the Haunt. Duriali struggling a little bit just to try and take care and deal with some of it, but takes the slight angle from below. Teammate's going to be helping him out, but they still have B main control. Blackwiz was just waiting, tucked into the corner.
And it is the same problems. XERXIA, without extremity control, can't go for these splits as easily. And it's a 2v4.
30 seconds left.
Surf and Scary are the 2 best clutch players for XERXIA, though.
Sure, he's just going to stick this. Okay, respect being shown. Get into that post-plant scenario. Surf even finding kill there onto Blackwiz, pushing their own smoke. This is now getting more than dangerous. Northeption, you're in a pretty good position. Meteor dashing forwards, luckily doesn't end up going down, but now going to start to stick that spike, gets it to half. All the way, wants to take the duel, it's so risky. Quick tap, tries to force the favorable fight. How are these bullets whiffing, but eventually he gets it. That's a Red Bull clutch, according to all our accounts, but yeah, I mean,
in some sense, Bren, that is unbelievable that XERXIA, with Surf and Scary, the solo players alive, win a 2v4, but at the same time, they gave Meteor so many opportunities to win that.
I mean, mate, he
this dash! Oh, Scary missed a lot of bullets there. And then Meteor had many different opportunities to dance around the Headhunter bullets too. At the end of the day, though, it is a really big deal that Surf and Scary are able to capitalize there. 2-round lead for XERXIA, despite the fact that their game plan isn't really working of this heavy mid control. This is one of the first times that they've taken B early on and attempted to push A. But Surf gets caught by such an aggro peek.
Meteor's just doing that alone. Operator.
Yep.
Contact peek up through A main and he gets that kill.
Why not? The thing is, though, he has never seen a player over there. They don't play A ramp, so he's not scared.
Just try to push him away with the flash. Charlie, heal in his hands, uses it for himself, and now to contact into sewers. See if they can work their way around A. They have to be aware, though, that Meteor was around here. Operator in play. How are they going to deal with this one? Because I've seen familiar scenes. Prowler just off to the side. Now the utility, that's going to be the satchel and a stun. Slightly mistimed opportunity for him to re-peek, and indeed he does. Why not? Full blind in his own smoke, though. Won't find shelter from it. And sight. They do get control of it. Spike is going to go down here for XERXIA, but still 4 players alive for Northeption.
Another 2v4 for XERXIA. Different players alive this time. Sushi Boys with a showstopper.
Not entirely favoured. Hold these angles, a bit of repositioning, playing aggressively right into them. The swing cruise, does he know the second player is there? Showstopper off to the side, it does a significant amount of damage, but now he's being swarmed, lined up. A bit of ADS, why not? Just trying to bait out the shots, the nade, you gotta be joking! What am I witnessing? But not enough time, still plenty for Jojo.
Simply absurd situations. The showstopper didn't do enough damage to get a kill. Frankly, it looked like Sushi Boys was robbed with that one. But then the spray down came through off the back of all of the damage that had been done. And that was another very winnable 2v4. I said the game would be scrappy. But, but this is absurd.
Just lining up.
It's 1v1 towards the
What
end.
is going on here?
It's just crazy. Both players running out of bullets.
Oh my goodness. Pressure's on.
That is a nice that you hear in the comms from
nice.
Northeption, but it's one of those, oh boy, we got away with it. We got away with that one. Okay,
Yeah.
nice guys, but also, let's try and play it a bit cleaner next time. This map is anybody's to win. And Northeption have got their economy in a situation where they're very heavily favoured to put this back towards 10-10. But both of these teams are really missing a key component, I think, of the split attack strategy that you need to implement, and that is being able to threaten extremity control by denying information. I mean, without a Cypher on either side, obviously both teams going for the chamber, you need to be helping that chamber get into position, either by aggressively taking extremity control at the beginning of the rounds, or using smokes to deny info and helping them at least threaten that they could be pushing towards the mid-round.
That's a lot of what split attack side is about.
And it feels like it's missing a little bit here from both of these teams. And in the end, it's coming down to brute force. And in some senses, Bren, that's the most fun way that this match could play out.
Honestly, it is. It is. So used to, honestly, been watching a lot of these teams. I mean, they're disciplined, they're slow, they're cautious in some of the rounds at the way they play it, but sometimes
you need whimsy in your life.
Yeah, you do need that whimsy. I mean, both of these teams just trying to find their spare buckets of whimsy they got lying around, pulling it out every now and then in these rounds. That's going to be the tour de force. Shot being found, it looked like, but okay, he's back to safety, survives on 35 health.
Unsure why he even stuck around for that long, honestly. Maybe just hoping that the stun was a bit of a fake.
What?
There comes Cruz.
Yep, straight into the smoke, running them down with the weaponry that they've got.
Pretty effective eco so far.
They're going to be skirting their way around this Sage Wall.
weird scenario.
This is really odd.
One of the pieces has been broken, so it allows them to connect back up. It's going to be a bit of an A fake. Only one player that they detect anchoring the site.
Just a Nightfall, and Zen's been watching this, so he knows that there's nothing else behind this. Oh, all bite, no bar, but look at that. Still collecting the shots. XERXIA, not much in their hands when it comes to the weaponry, but able to get a couple of answers out of it. Now Jojo's got a tremendous task ahead of him. Swarmed from so many perceivable angles.
And here are these anti-eco rounds failing once more for Northeption. I don't think there was really any need for Zenfu to stay that long over at the A ramp spot after he'd been fault lined.
Oh my goodness.
Just died to a single body shot afterwards.
He's still here.
Yeah, I mean, there is very little chance that Blackwiz is going to be able to survive. Look at him being hunted.
Oh boy.
The pack has caught his scent.
Every single angle now, and he's just trying to avoid it, man. It's like, can we do something else? Can we play prop hunt? Can we do something else with our time? Trying to hunt down the weapon. Surely he's not going to get away. He's 40 health. Dodging, juking, trying to find.
There's going to be a
safe
spike
spot.
There's going to be a spike exploding behind him soon.
TV's across to the paranoia. What is occurring still? The off angle, and eventually they claim their prize.
Exactly 40 HP, only a single bullet. And Cruz takes him out. So Northeption are offered no mercy, no quarter. Not only was Cruz able to find the opener, but he was also able to punish the final player. It's this kill, though, as Zen dies to a single shot. I mean, that one was nasty as well. Just a couple of things breaking down there on the Northeption side. And they were massively favored to tie this map up at 10-10, and instead, XERXIA 2 rounds away from winning map 1.
Finding their answers. Meteor with the Blade Storm still. It's a thrifty Northeption. Could do some work, could do some damage with it. Slow days yet, though. Stacking over towards B Heaven. And they're just walking right into the line of sight again. Foxy, he's got it. Still wants to take the fight. I mean, a risk there, maybe getting overwhelmed, swarmed by the classics and whatnot, but no, he's just going to be taking his time. He's having a bit of a meander all the way through. TP stuck. Meteor wants to just try to dive onto him to dash the right click. It doesn't find the connection.
Just unfortunate. There are definitely ways in which that right click could have hit, but the random spray not helping him that time.
Truly sounding pain, dear Josh.
Well, Meteor is everything on these eco rounds. Northeption wins so many of them domestically.
So he's just getting away with just these, honestly, seemingly random lurks that are coming through, but eventually dealt with in behind. Still, Northeption have only got 2 players left standing. Smoke fades, does give a bit of a favourable fight, but left alone now. Blackwiz, the satchel pushes him back, and there's no way he's favoured in that one. 12 rounds for XERXIA, 1 more away from taking this map.
Match point.
These are the moments that can crush inexperienced teams and players. You have taken the eco, knowing full well that XERXIA are likely to make it up to map point. Do you have it in you to pull off 3 in a row?
God, it's such an uphill battle.
Look at the battle right now between Surf and Meteor as well. Surf's just been quietly finding so much value, especially with the operator in his hands. Whereas it feels like Meteor's having to pull out miracle rounds just to keep them in the game.
Just absurd plays all around. Haunt into mid to try and once more take control of it, but there's no real pressure applied into B main. Meteor's got a slide off angle, but XERXIA getting all the space in the world in mid.
Meteor is finally pushed off the B main angle. Unfortunately for them, A ramp has been locked off.
Spotted out there. Satchel to try and break that one with the trademark gone. Surf, what an angle. It's a one-way in his way. Another one being set up as well. Takes the shot, but backs off. His team still biding their time. Obviously a minute on the clock.
The one-ways are not too effective when you've got another one staring at you. But XERXIA have taken out a lot of the informational tools that Northeption are working with on this defense half. Meteor's on a more passive position.
How far back all the players are of Northeption.
Yeah, Northeption think they could be in B main, they could be in B heaven. The trademark's broken, now the Sage Wall is broken, and Blackwiz has given up his position, wondering if they rotated.
The flash sent through. That's Jojo just trying to get something done. Maybe if they make some noise off the back of the flash. He's holding his fault line, and Northeption right now, what a tremendous task they've got, because 30 seconds left, the hit's going to start to go in. Rolling Thunders exchanged. Stuns wrapping around in the individual members XERXIA still just trying to find their footing, but it's scary. And B-Main takes the fight. Meteor's taken out. Northeption, one player that they just come to rely on so often. No longer here for this engagement. And oh, XERXIA, so close, surfing this angle. The shorty in play, takes the shot, swings into it. He's taken out though. XERXIA boys still finding it, worried now about being pincered. Tries to take the fight there, but a bit of movement from Zinfrey. This could still be workable, especially with the players coming down, but now it's all up to Blackwiz. 66 health, wrapping around the pillar, but it's the double face in the end, and the fundamentals ring true. XERXIA taking map number 1 in this series.
It's Northeption's pick, attempting to punish